friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Talia. I'm an artist and interior stylist in LA, and I help people affordably curate more beautiful and functional spaces. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of the foundational groups of things that you need to be able to curate any kind of beauty and function in your home. It's tools. So I'm going to be going through all of the basic tools I think that every home needs. Go to your toolkit, toolbox, tool area. Make sure that you have these. If you don't, I'm gonna have links that you can shop down below. Without further ado, a little bit more ado. I'm not a contractor or like a tool master. I'm just a woman who lives alone, who has lived alone, who likes to do little crafts and things around my house, who likes to build things, and these are the tools that come in handy to do that. I've also, put together the plethora of cheap furniture that you see all around me. So these are going to be tools that I recommend for anyone to have in their house, just to make life more easy for any of the little projects that you want to be able to complete on your own. No fuss, no muss. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So first thing, even before we get into the tools, you're going to need a toolbox or other place to corral all of your tool items. If you live in a small space, everything in your home needs to have a home. Otherwise, it's going to be laying around, and it's very awkward to have hammers and wrenches laying around. So I suggest getting some sort of toolbox. I originally had a toolbox that my aunt purchased for me. As a matter of fact, the toolbox and several of the tools that you're going to see in this video are from the original kit of tools that my aunt purchased me when I kind of graduated from college and went into the real world. I still have the toolbox. It's storing kind of random tool related items now, but because I build and hang things on the wall and am doing all kinds of crafty stuff all the time, it actually made more sense for me to just have my tools stored underneath my bed. So I have a plastic pull-out bin underneath my bed, and I store most of my tools under there for easy access, as crazy as that sounds, but it does make sense for me given how much I use my tools. It's not very organized, but it gets the job done. The next thing that I'm going to recommend to start off your tool collection is a good old hammer. So this was, like I said, this was a hammer that my aunt purchased for me. That was in my original toolkit. It's held up for years, doing hammery things, This is really great. I don't really feel like I have to go into too much detail for some of these tools. Most people who have any sort of tools in their house will have a hammer. If you're going to be hanging anything on the wall, if you're going to be putting furniture together, I've started doing some kind of basic woodworking and putting together some benches and tables. Can't go wrong with a hammer. So the next tool you're going to want is a handheld screwdriver. I like this one. It's a multi-bit screwdriver. It has multiple bits. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm trying to go old school like they used to do. There. In the old beauty YouTube days. So you can see in the handle here, there's multiple bits. So flathead, fillet head, square shaped, all of the different kinds of screws and different sizes. So this is a real multi-tool. But what I also love about this is that it has a little switch here that you can switch it back and forwards. So that way, if it's switched in the, tightening direction, you're rolling your wrist back to reset your wrist when you're screwing in the screw. It doesn't undo your work. It only allows the screwdriver to screw in one direction. I'm not a contractor or a tool master, and so I really think that this is a good tool. It's time saving, it's space saving because it has multiple bits in one. I have not, as of yet, come to a job or any kind of screw from any package or product that I was not able to screw in using one of the bits in this screwdriver, so I think this is a really great purpose to get multiple tools in one. The next tool I'm going to recommend is an electric screwdriver. And this is just one that I picked up from IKEA, so it does not have to be, you know, a fancy name brand, giant honking one that you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's. This little one, it's been working for years and I almost never charge it. It's gotten every job that I've needed to get done. And that was even before I got the little drill bit to actually properly start a screw. So I was being real ghetto before if I needed to get a screw into somewhere and I didn't like have like a hole going. I would just like put the screw into the wall and I'd hammer it in a little bit and then I would go in and I'd screw it in the rest because I didn't have like a pilot drill. Is that what it's called? Like a drill bit? I don't know.
I'm not a tool master.
But now I'm able to use this electric drill to properly start the proper size hole with my drill bit. Again, fully powered. I've not come into a drill job that I was not able to accomplish with this drill. As little power as it does have, I'm sure that there is a difference between like a big professional drill set and this little one, but there hasn't been a need for me to make an upgrade as of yet. Sometimes a handheld screwdriver is needed, just the size of the thing just doesn't work out to use an electric screwdriver, and sometimes it just would not make sense to use a handheld screwdriver. So have you the convenience and the option with both. So since we're already at IKEA with the electric drill, let's stay there and talk about nails and screws. So these are packs of nails and screws that I got from IKEA. They came with a lot more than was actually in here. Now, because I've been using these, like I said, for years, this is also a really great place to kind of corral your screws and nuts and bolts and stuff. So a lot of the stuff that's in here now is not original IKEA screws and stuff, but it's nice to be able to have one place to go to find screws, no matter what size or anything that you're gonna need. Also, if you ever find like a screw lying around your house, don't throw it away. I don't know why I used to do that. Like I'd find a screw around my house and I'd be like, what is this? I don't know what this is from. Let me throw it away instead of like holding on to it in a safe, secure spot that you can always refer back to when you find the table that for whatever reason your screw has fallen out from. And of course this is a very particular screw. It's not one of the screws that you can get from your IKEA kit. It's a screw that was specially made for this table that they don't sell anymore, and you've thrown that screw away, and so now you are screwed. If only you would have used your IKEA screw holding set to save all of your screws, right? Have them to use, save them, store them, keep them, save your sanity. So now we're gonna get into it and really gonna be exposing my lack of expertise on these things. The next tools that you need to have in your house are pliers / wrenches. I'm gonna break them down into categories of big grabby things and little grabby things, and that is just because this seems to be able to open and wrench a much larger thing, you know, than this guy. This seems like more turny and pinchy. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even these are pliers. I'm short plier and a wrench. I'm pretty sure. I have used these plenty of times. Don't know if I've ever used them appropriately. I've opened cans with this one. I've gotten like all sorts of things just like pulled out of spaces that were stuck.
I'm not a tool master.
These work for what they work for. I like having them on hand. They have rescued me in more than a number of occasions. I would recommend that you have some sort of wrench, plier, grabby, turny thing on hand, although I could not tell you what the appropriate official uses of these things are. I just know that when I need them, I've been very grateful to have them, and I'd recommend you get at least one yourself. So if you are an IKEA connoisseur like me, the next tool I'm going to recommend that you have on hand is a hex tool. This is a folding hex tool, and it just has all of these little bits that come out, and they are different size hex keys that you can use to screw or unscrew your hex screws. I don't know if these are the right words. Like I said, not a tool master. So most of the time when you are purchasing IKEA furniture, it does come with its own little like hex tool that's specifically sized for whatever nuts and bolts are included. But sometimes I find that they're really hard to grip onto, like the L-shaped ones. I really like this one because it's a bigger L, but you've got this way more comfortable like rubberized grip that you can hold on to. You can get a better range of motion when you're twisting and untwisting, and it just makes putting your furniture together a lot simpler. So this is not one that I use as much because I'm not putting together furniture, but this has been very crucial. So if you're going to be furnishing your house, especially if you're going to be furnishing your house very heavily reliant on like Amazon and IKEA furniture, this is going to be a tool that you want to have in your arsenal. So the next two items I'm going to recommend for your toolkit are actually items that I don't have in front of me right now and I don't want to get up against. It's tape. I'm going to recommend two types of tape: duct tape and painter's tape. So duct tape is like king of the tapes, has so many different uses across the interior kind of like home crafts arena, but more specifically I think for me, I found a lot of uses in duct tape as like a hiker and a person who like spends a lot of time outdoors. I fixed a sleeping pad with duct tape. I've, you know, covered up a hole in my jacket with duct tape, and there's no shame in my game. Painter's tape I've probably used more frequently for internal usage. Number one, when you're painting, just making sure that you can cover up areas that you don't intend to paint to make your paint job as neat as possible, as neat as I can possibly get it, because I'm looking around just appreciating how horribly I am at painting. Wow, that spider up there is getting real big. Real big, and I help them out with my mosquitoes though. My other favorite use for painter's tape is actually using it to outline different areas, either on the wall or on the floor, so I can imagine what furniture or art is going to look like if I purchase it, given the full dimension. So if I am thinking about adding a new piece to my gallery wall and I want to figure out whether or not I like the scale of that piece, I can either put a hole in the wall, hang it up, and take a step back and see what it's going to look like, or I can put up some painter's tape and kind of gauge what the piece will look like in that space, and then take the painter's tape down with no skin off my nose, no paint off my wall. So definitely I would recommend those two if you're only going to get one. If you only have space for one roll of tape in your house, I would probably go painter's tape, especially if you are going to be purchasing art. If you're still in the shopping for furniture, figuring out your layout phase, painter's tape is going to help you do that visually. So the next item I'm going to recommend for your toolbox is a tape measure. I would recommend getting one that has a clip on it as well as the locking feature. You just want something that's really sturdy. I don't, like I said, have to explain the need for many of these tools, but especially if you are moving into a space, if you're looking to buy new furniture, move things around, being able to know exactly how much space you have to work with is crucial. So in addition to this more sturdy form of the tape measure, I also have this one, which I think is more for like measuring like your person or like It's kind of like floppy. I use these both depending on what I'm measuring. Sometimes it's nice to be able to have something that's a little bit more flexible of a tape measure. And if they were made appropriately, like 6 inches on this should be 6 inches on your other standard tape measures, so there shouldn't be a problem there. Nice to have options. The next tool I'm going to recommend for your toolbox is some WD-40. A little bit goes a long way, so I only have this little tiny canister here. Anything that you have in your house that is squeaky or stuck or rusty or anything of the sort, a little bit of WD-40 is going to take care of it right away. I have had problems with my car, like for whatever reason my clicker stopped working and then my key also didn't want to turn, and some WD-40 in the lock was thankfully able to get that problem solved. I've also taken care of all the squeaky doors and windows in my apartment with a little WD-40, so I think this is such a cool thing to have on hand, because you'll live with a squeaking door forever, and it's such like a nuisance that you kind of put in the back of your mind, when literally 2 squirts of this will take care of the problem and eradicate it completely. And you know, that's your goal for a tool. You know, you use it, it works quick and easy, and it gets the job done. WD-40, don't be without it. The last tool I'm going to recommend for your toolbox is a flashlight. I think this is something that kind of goes, it's like a standard thing that most people have, but some people don't think of it as a tool. I definitely recommend a kind of heavy duty. This is a mag light. I can also use this as a weapon if anybody wants to try it. I actually went a long time, like years, without having a proper flashlight, and I told, sorry, that was stupid. I was driving to my friends, this couple, home from church one day, and I mentioned to them that I didn't have a flashlight, and the husband asked me to go to Home Depot, and he came out with a flashlight for me. He was like, you need to have a flashlight in your house. And literally, like maybe 3 weeks after that, we had like a blackout, and I was like, whew, thank God I have this flashlight. So really crucial to have just in case of emergencies. If you've been paying attention to the American power grid recently, it's falling apart, so you can expect to have more blackouts and brownouts in the future, I'm sure, and having some backup lights is crucial. I have a ton of like battery operated candles and other stuff around here, but a flashlight is a quick and easy way to get to those things so that you can set up your secondary lighting situation. So those are the kind of basic tools that I'm going to recommend for anybody's toolbox. That's going to get you through all of your general needs, any like emergencies or like nuisance things that you need to take care of around your house. Those items that I just mentioned, how many were there? 12, 13, I don't know, I didn't keep count. I also want to recommend a couple of other items for the intermediate to advanced level crafty home decor people. The first thing I'm going to recommend is a hot glue gun. Mine looks like absolute disgustingness from the many jobs that it has done, but it still gets the job done. If it's ever kind of clogged a little bit, all I have to do is plug it in, wait till it gets heated up, and then whatever's clogged comes right out. And I've had this for at least 3 years, picked it up from the 99-cent store. A hot glue gun is seriously the gift that keeps on giving. I have put together so many projects in this space with hot glue. I don't know how to sew, so all of the cushions that I've made in my house have been heavily featuring hot glue. Pillowcases that I made for my kitchen, heavily featuring hot glue. My headboard actually heavily features hot glue. There's literally no shame in my game. I will use whatever it takes to get the job done, and hot glue gets the job done. And like I said, I got this from the 99-cent store. The gun was actually $2.99, but still. So the next intermediate tool I'd recommend for the crafty toolbox is a staple gun. I've got mine right here. I got this from Amazon, as well as the staple replacements. Staple gun has been crucial in some of my larger crafting projects. Specifically, when I started making my own canvases, I will use the staple gun to attach the canvas to the wood frame. I've also used a staple gun in creating my headboard, just anything that I'm using really thin pieces of wood. The staple gun is a really great way to kind of like get things set into a shape so that I can go back in and maybe put a nail through something or screw through something to make it a little bit more stable, especially because I'm working alone. Like the staple gun is like, it's not a third hand, but it lets me loosen up my hands a little bit quicker than if I were just using like nails or screwdrivers. So staple gun is nice to have for the crafty intermediates and advanced among us. So I'm like swinging this around, like I have such poor trigger control. So the staple gun has been really helpful in creating my canvases. Let's talk about a tool that has been super helpful in hanging the canvases. I am talking about a level, and I've got a couple. So this one is just kind of like a standard heavier duty level. Wow, it's also incredibly dusty. This other one that I have is magnetic, and then it also has the laser beam, which is really helpful if you are able to set the level up across the room when you're hanging things. You can like get them hung at a straight line, and then you're also then able to use the level on top of the item to confirm that you have hung it at a straight line. So lots of different ways to use this level. If you're only going to get one, I would definitely recommend getting the one that has all the bells and whistles, so the laser lighting and the ability to stick to things is super helpful. This is from IKEA. I will be honest in saying that I don't know if it's actually perfectly level. Like when I put it on a table that is perfectly level, it's slightly like just this itty bitty bit off to the left a little bit, but I can compensate for that. This one is like really level and lined up, so I can always come in and finish off and verify. But for me, because I'm hanging my own pieces, it's good enough. I haven't felt inclined to go and purchase like a heavy duty professional level that has the laser and the magnet. If you are building things or hanging a lot of art, you're definitely going to want to have a level in your toolkit. The last tools I'm going to suggest having in your toolkit, we're now at the advanced we're now at the advanced toolkit level, and these are things that I've picked up in the last like year and a half since I've gotten into some basic woodworking and kind of making benches and tables and frames and stuff in the house. So the first thing I'm going to recommend if you're looking to do that sort of work is a jigsaw. So I purchased my jigsaw from Amazon. It'll be linked down below. It came in this nice little box. I love when tools that can't fit into my toolbox come with their own little home. And then inside is just this guy. So first of all, I will say that I do feel like a badass every time I whip out the jigsaw and have some wood that I need to cut. It also comes with a bunch of different little serrated knives you probably can't see down on the bottom. And I think they can cut, I've only cut wood with them, but I'm pretty sure wood, and then these two small ones are for metal. So I've done several woodworking projects over the last year and a half that would have been impossible without the jigsaw. Just being able to cut the wood down to the exact size I need in my house without having to like know exactly what size I need to have it cut down to at the Home Depot. One, just for the convenience of being able to change my mind, and two, because my local Home Depot where I purchased my wood, their 2 wood cutting machines have been out of order for like over a year and a half. So sure, but the jigsaws come in super handy. Like I said, I've been making all of the frames to hang my canvases. I've made 2 console tables. I've made a bench. I've made 2 shoe racks. I'm planning out right now a larger L-shaped bench for my kitchen, and being able to cut the wood to do those projects is literally what's making them possible. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who could make a table. I'm barely able to make a table, but the Jigsaw has been the saving grace in those projects, and it's the only thing that I use to cut wood. So I know there's a lot of different other types of blades and saws and things that can get like a better, closer cut for the things that I'm actually needing to cut for. I don't worry about any of that. I'm able to make it work with the Jigsaw, and I have been making it work, and this was like less than 40 bucks, and I've not had a problem with the strength or the power of this device thus far, so I'm very happy. The other woodworking tool I'm gonna recommend if you're getting the Jigsaw and you're gonna be doing any sort of like working with wood is an Orbital Sander. I've got mine here. It doesn't have the attachment to collect the extra wood grains, but it does have like a really worn down sanding disc here. I don't remember when's the last time I used this, but so the Jigsaw and the sander probably get the least amount of use of all the products in my house, but they have definitely been super useful, and being able to like finish up and soften up any of your wood cuts is a must. So if you're gonna get the Jigsaw and you're gonna be using the Jigsaw, I would recommend just like planning on having a sander available as well. You can also sand by hand, but I would think, especially if you're going to be doing any like refinishing furniture or like upcycling furniture, you're going to be stripping paint and finishings off of wood to restain or repaint them. You're not going to want to have to do all of that work manually, so just get something. This is Black & Decker, and I'm pretty sure it was under $40, but like I said, I will have tools, either exact versions or similar, linked below. All right, short and sweet, those are all the tools that I think that everyone should have in their tool kit. I'm assuming that most of you guys have a good number of these tools already at your disposal. If you don't, I would highly recommend that you pick up whatever is missing, especially if you are going to be doing any building, crafting, putting together furniture. It's nice to be able to have these things just on hand when the need comes up, and a lot of times you are skipping out on doing things in your house because you don't have a tool available. So if you have a chair that you sit on and it's constantly squeaking, one solution might be to tighten all of the screws with a hex tool, or maybe one of the heads in your multi-purpose screwdriver. Or maybe the squeaking in your chair is a problem that could be solved by giving all the underside screw bits a good spray of WD-40. If you have the tools on hand to do the job, you'll be able to do the job. So I hope that this video is really helpful for you, especially anybody out there who is setting off on their own for the first time, any women who are living on their own. These are just some really good tools for you to be able to have on hand so that you can get things done when you need to. I hope this video was useful. If it was, I would appreciate if you would throw a slice of pizza to the subway rat that is the YouTube algorithm by liking the video, commenting down below what is your favorite tool, and sharing this video with anyone who you think needs a little bit of help in developing up their first toolkit. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you're well, and until next time, stay safe out there. Bye.